stack. Beautiful. Sex, butter, and chocolate. That's what feels like when I see a new fantastic software available in the market. This time it's a Dxo Photolab 8. So we are going to take a look at the new features that available now in this new software. Also, it's going to be a bit of a tutorial format. So that means that I'm going to do a complete editing with the existing tool and the current new tool, the new features available. And then basically we'll talk about is there any change, or is it easier to use? Is there any kind of particularity that makes it different than the rest of the softwares in the market, etc., etc. But before I go through that, the details, let's take a look at the images I'm going to use. I really like this image because, you know, this one is vibrant, is clear, lots of color. I like this one because, you know, that's like one of those long exposure. Even though I have used the low ISO, that is 160 in the Canon 5D Mark II, because it's a long exposure image, nonetheless, you have a significant amount of noise. Pretty much all the images that I'm showing you right now, they share the same kind of editing process. In this particular image, I really want to probably use either this one, which is Sydney Opera House with the drones flying on the on the side, or this image that is quite vibrant, or if not, probably this one. This one is, you know, it's punchy. It is the real deal, in my opinion. So we're going to take a look. And finally, before I'm moving on to the editing, please scan the barcode in order to do some donation. It helps me to continue this channel, or go down in the description below in order to make some donations, or click in the affiliate link, and if you do some purchase, and it will help me a lot. Now moving on to the editing, enough with begging money. Right, so right off the bat, you know, globally nothing changed. You can straight away go through the folder and then you know, start editing the image, and when you put your cursor on it, it will show you all the details about the image. This image is very old. I mean, I cannot believe that, you know, it's like a journey to the memory lane in 2016. My goodness, time flies. Time really flies. You know, this is the beauty of shooting raw, because now I don't regret shooting raw, because I can take advantage of the newest software with the new technology, and makes the image looks even much better than it used to be, because in past it was a hard work, but these days everything is possible. In terms of the photo library, this is pretty much it. You can compare, of course, on the top, side by side, full screen or one-on-one on zoom, for example. And let's take a look. You have this this little red dot. They are the dead pixel, in my opinion, because, you know, this is nonetheless a very old camera. And for, you know, comparing the date of it, this is, you know, even the Australian flag in one-on-one in the long exposure. When I say long exposure, I'm talking about, let's see the timetable. It doesn't show the shutter. Oh, 30 seconds. See the 30 seconds of the exposure, and the flag still looks pretty clear. It's just beauty. Anyway, so you have some dead pixels. The image looks blurred because, you know, long exposure do stack a lot of noise anyway. It doesn't matter if you're using the lowest exposure possible. It does make some issues because it was a windy day. So camera had a micro movement, so image looks a little bit soft. But that's totally fine, because still a beautiful image nonetheless. At the bottom corner you have the you know, I could not get the my tripod close enough, so I had to take some floor on the edges of the shore, but that's fine. That's part of the image as well. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all because it still looks pretty freaking vibrant and I love it. Now, you also have the file, edit, view, image, optics module to download the optics modules in order to fix your the distortion and the lens softness, all that. I'm having a little bit of trouble downloading them because my internet connection is not the best at the moment, which is quite sad. So I wish I could show you. For example, if I click at the bottom it shows you that one suitable Dxo optics module available for download. Click the icon to download. If I click it, it shows the Dxo Canon 5D Mark II plus the lens that I've used. But when I click next, unfortunately, the remote server returned an error 404 not found. So I have a little bit of an internet connection issue. Otherwise, it would be awesome. But that's totally fine. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't look very strange at all. Let's moving on to the actual fun part, which is the editing. So I'm going to zoom in quite a bit. What I did to have extra space, I closed it, but I'm going to show you anyway. So on the side, everything is customizable. Everything is customizable here. So you can actually replace or add new things. I stayed on the default. When I say default, I mean, I kept it as it is. Metadata, GPS location, advanced history, all that. But you can modify them if you want to. Drag from the left to the right if you want. I kept other things as well. For example, every time I put a cursor on, it shows exactly what it does, which is very important for me to understand and for you to understand exactly. And when you go to the customize, you also have the palettes. In the palettes, you can actually, get rid of stuff or add more things. I have the histogram, but I think it's at the very bottom, if I remember. Because I think, in my opinion, the histogram is much more important than the zoom in and out. So histogram is probably somewhere. I don't know where is it, because I don't find it right now. See, I in my previous editing the tutorials, I did have exact same kind of issues that I had trouble looking for the histogram. I don't know where are they at this very moment. If I had a chance, I would probably open it on the section on the left if I could. At this moment, I don't have it. So if you give me a moment, I'm going to try histogram. No, it doesn't. It's not here. Neither here, neither here, neither here, neither here. Because histogram is the ultimate tool for me, in my opinion. Without it, photo editing kind of... I mean, I do have histogram here when I go to the photo library section, but that's about it. But if I go to customize, it disappears. So that kind of sucks. Palettes, show and hide. So moving on, let's not waste any more time. Before I go any further, let's straight away take a look at the top. You have the compare side by side. You have the single view, cycle between the display mode. You have other display modes such as side by side, top to bottom, split view, left and right, split view, top to bottom. That's pretty good. Then you also have zoom in one-on-one or fit to screen. New tool, finally. So new loop tool. So what it does, let me read it out loud for you. With the introduction of the loop tool, previewing the result of your image adjustment and denoising has never been easier. Which basically they finally decide to show live especially the sharpening and noise reduction, because in the past you had this little box on the right hand side that is to show the little things, the little change, but now it's a lot bigger. So we're going to get into that in a moment. And then you also have typical the cropping. I don't need to do much of a cropping. Actually, I don't need to do any cropping, probably just a little bit, show grid, opacity, aspect ratio, unconstrained, and get rid of a little bit of that and close. Perfect. Then you have the white balance tool. Obviously, I don't need much of a white balance tool. I would like to work on the color because this is not a priority. You have the correction, automatic correction. So I'm going to apply it. Then you have the retouch and the red eye. Pretty much it, guys. Nothing extraordinary, nothing out of the ordinary. That's what I wanted to say. Now the exposure correction, I'm going to turn on everything in automatic because idea is that how quick is it? You have the Dxo smart lighting before and after. So I'm going to do before and after. Before and after. So extend the dynamic range of your image by rebalancing the underexposed and overexposed area quickly and accurately. You get the idea. So it doesn't raise the exposure globally because otherwise there will be clipping. So in order to maintain the clipping, the highlights while getting increasing the shadow, it uses the smart lighting. Am I going to use light or strong? I'm going to try on strong. It's a little bit too strong in my taste. It actually makes it pretty strange. Medium, slight. I'd go for medium and then add some contrast. Intensity probably just 854. And then let's go back and forth to the histogram. Selective tone, not necessary. I would like to work with my curve. Dxo Clear View Plus automatically enhance the vibrancy of your photos by reducing the atmospheric haze and boosting contrast without increasing the edge hollows. Let's try. That's pretty cool. Before it had a little bit of hollow everywhere. If you look at zooming in, had a little bit of hollow. If you do the Clear View Plus, it gives a nice contrast. I like it actually. Then the reduction of the contrast automatically, probably the slightly 18 plus of a micro contrast. Then tone curve. You know what I would do? There's a new tool in the tone curve, the revamp tone curve, which is fantastic for portrait. The tone curve, let me show you. The tone curve now features an added Luma channel and several UI enhancement for getter control and improved usability like the new tone picking tools for easy curve adjustment. What does mean? Like let's do a tone picker. And then I will go to the brightest area possible. When I'm moving the dropper, take a look at this curve. You can see on the line that is showing exactly where my picker is. I'm going to go to the brightest part possible and I'll click it there. And then I'll go to the darkest part possible. There. And I'm going to go to the slightly bright, for instance, there, just under the highest dot possible. Then shadow area, I'll go to somewhere like a dark but not too dark area. There you go. Now what I'm going to do is to pull the shadow section up to recover shadow. However, I'll give some contrast and I'll pull back the middle section up. I'll do the same. I'll reduce some shadow highlight while maintain the upper midtone. So let's do before and after now. Let's see what's the change. Before after. You see, there's a very minor change that is beautiful yet subtle. I don't know if you notice it. I really do hope you notice. I'm going to zoom in for you. So before, that's the after, and that's before. After, before. You see that there is a certain and subtle change in contrast. That's fantastic. Very subtle, not extremely visible, yet very useful. I'm going to show you again before and after because I'm in love with this thing. It's a very useful tool. I gotta tell. I'm going to go to the photo library to check the histogram. It sucks though. I don't like it, honestly. Toggle the monitor gamut warning. That's the gamut warning. So it gives you all the warning that in the green and blue, probably the highlight and shadow clipping, but we don't care because it's the image of a long exposure. Vignetting, I'm going to check. Doesn't do much, honestly. As a matter of fact, I cannot do automatic vignette control because I could not download the Dxo optic module. That's another beauty of a Dxo optic modules, but unfortunately, it looks like that I can't. That's horseshit, honestly. When it comes to the temperature, I don't have to change much. Probably I would go for, as shot or custom. So probably I would raise and go to 5000 to 5200. So that makes it look more vibrant and a bit more balance in terms of the tint. So heading towards a pink area. So that's okay by me. Now Dxo white gamut or classic legacy. So that's the classic one. And the legacy white gamut will give you a bit more color, which is beautiful for printing. You also have the possibility to let me explain you what it is the white gamut color space. The algorithm will give you a bit more vibrant color in a larger color space, which is beautiful. Now you can create profile if you have a color chart, which is fantastic for any kind of product photography or portrait. Which is beautiful. Generic rendering. So generic rendering, camera body, I'm probably gonna go to the Canon 5D Mark II, which is the camera, this particular image. Intensity probably a bit more high. And then LUT grading, not necessarily, it's a possibility, but I'm not going to waste your time or my time on sepia or color LUT grading. That's for another, but that always been there in the past. HSL didn't change. In this particular image, I don't see any reason to use that, for instance. However, probably I just want to do a test on this particular area, which is super bright, and then see if I reduce the luminance, does it do anything? Probably it does. Yeah, it does. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm convinced. Saturation probably as well. Let's see. And the uniformity, I'm going to keep it as it is. Do I change the color for fun? No, it's already colorful enough. I don't see any reason to change it for any reason. Okay, right. Anything else? Anything else? Probably in the pink area. So luminance, saturation, that's fine. Okay. Let's do before, after, before, after, before. You see, I'm not convinced with the change only because that even though this area on the pillar looks really nice, but the water doesn't look much more interesting after the change. So as a matter of fact, I'm not going to change it, because just because you have a tool doesn't mean that you have to use it all the time. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, fun part, one of the most fun part, the noise reduction, obviously. So let's zoom in, and I'm going to get rid of this stupid dropper, and 100% zoom. It's a noisy photo because even though if you look at the ISO is 160, but the long exposure, which means that 30 seconds of exposure, you got to use the noise reduction. You don't have a choice much. So I'm going to go to the best of the best of the best, the deep prime. And this is where, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to use the loop tool. You already have a global change because I did 100% of the zooming in. However, if I zoom back, it's not that much of a visible. So I'm going to do all the changes, but before I go to all the changes, I'm going to start the loop tool. And you can go all the way to 1600%, which is damn, like really high. So the good thing is that it's working in the background. You cannot, and I think it's already done with the change. But I'm going to go back and forth. And you have a new edition of the Dxo Deep Prime XD2S. 2S is for the new denoising performance, designed to bring out even more details and ensure beautifully smooth bokeh in your images. Let's see if it's true or not. So I'm going to stop. I'll bring this thing there. Before, after. No, that's before, and that's after in any moment. I'm gonna get my coffee. I've been talking for a while. There you go. See, it does do a very good job. I mean, Dxo, come on. I mean, we all know that how beautiful and amazing it is. But remember that we had some dead pixels somewhere. Let's take a look if there is any change on that area. So before, I'm going to turn it off. So you see the dead pixel area. I'm going to turn this one on and see if it managed to detect them at all, or mix them up as a star, because star sometimes looks the same way, and then artificial intelligence may be difficult. Actually, it did detect the red dot as a dead pixel, which is very good, but that could be a complication as well if you're doing astrophotography. That's a different problem, and that's not my department. I'm sorry, I cannot help you with that. I'm just going to tell you right now up front that I am not your guy for astrophotography. Sorry. So I'm going to turn on the chromatic aberration. Retouch, not necessary. Moire, yes, why not, is there. Then the lens correction. Unfortunately, again, the lens correction does not work automatically because I don't have the... Hey, it did work, look. I apologize. I'm talking bullshit. You see, before, after, it did fix it. I apologize. I'm just showing whatever. Crop, manual crop based on keystoning and horizon. So automatic crop, why not? Screw it. Life is short for all these nitty-picky things. I'm going to turn off the loop tool for now. And distortion, Unfortunately, again, this where I am blocked because again I cannot fix it automatically because I don't have the lens module. So I'm going to just do a little fixing. Perfect. And let's do for fun side by side, shall we? So side by side. So that's our original image on the left and the new edited version on the right. What do you think? Let's try from different angle. It's quite nice. Split view. Okay, let's do split view. So after, before, after, before, after, before. It's nice, it's vibrant, it's sharp. I could use a little bit of sharpening though. Let's try a little bit of a sharpening. I'm going to zoom in 100% first of all. And then I'll go back to the unsharp mask. What I don't find, somewhere it's supposed to have like a lens softness. I think I don't have the lens softness module available because I don't have the lens module downloaded. You know what? It's bothering me a lot. I promise you, it's bothering me heaps. I don't know if there is any way to download manually. You see, camera body selection, Canon, and I'm going to try if I could. No, it's bothering me a lot. I swear to God. Canon 5D Mark II. Okay, that's done. Next, 24 to 70. Bim bada boom, 24 to 70. Perfect. Please, 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 please. Yes! I do have the module available now. So, is it going to do something? For now, no. Probably I have to turn off the software and then turn on the software, which I'm not going to do that. I'm going to finish this tutorial, but thank you for being patient with me. So I managed to download the module, and that's a very good news. I don't know if it's a distortion, does something for me. You know what? I'm going to turn off and turn on the whole thing. So I'll do. Well, after trying a lot, I could download all the modules that necessary except the lens that I really need, because every time it's giving me an error, which I don't really understand why. Very frustrated and very disappointed, but I don't know, maybe I have to live with it. Like for example, if I'm trying to do something manually, let's say Canon, the current lens, and then I click, I think that I have to select my camera body. And then finally, if I have to go and select the lens, which is necessary, for instance, in this case, 24 to 70, which should be any moment somewhere, 24 to 70. My eyes are, I'm an old man. I just became 38 not too long ago, so it's hard for me to take a look at. But if I go down, it would be somewhere in the list, please, without wasting my time and without wasting your time. There you go. So it says it's available, right? So I check it. Now if I go next, but before I go to, but I'm going to delete my log of the Dxo because I'm going to show you something very interesting. And then I'm going to click next. It select Canon 5D Mark II, Canon 24-70, 2.8 L USM. Next, remote server return to an error 404 not found. Now if I go to, there's a log just arrived and it says error, not sure why though, and it's also give me the number of the module, so I believe that I have to download it manually. So I'm going to do that later on, but unfortunately at this point I cannot do anything at all. So we are going to go back to the original image that we just edited, which is any moment. There you go, and move on to the following thing. So yeah, there is a technical issue. I spent some time in the forums while you were waiting for me to finish this video, and unfortunately it's a common problem. Seems like it doesn't come very often, but it does come time to time. But anyway, so without any wasting your time, I'm just going to show you finally the back and forth, before and after. Nonetheless, it's a fantastic software, no doubt about that, but I was kind of frustrated and disappointed because of that. What should I do about it? I don't really know at this very moment. I'm going to send an email to the support. That's the only thing I can do. Other than that, that's about it from me. Luckily, I do have the modules for the my other cameras, which is very nice. Let's see, that can do something for me. Hang on a second, that's not the image that we edited, did we? No, that's not the one. We edited actually this one. Apologize. There you go. Again, before and after. To make some room for you. Tack, tack. Beautiful. Anyway, hope that you enjoyed this little photography tutorial and first look on the Dxo Photolab 8. I know that it's a little bit of frustration at the very end regarding downloading the right module, but let's assure that overall it's a beautiful piece of software, and I highly recommend you to download it and then try it by yourself. Take care of yourself, and bye bye.